Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today I'm starting a very exciting vlog. As you can tell by the title for this video, I'm gonna dedicate a full vlog to reading anticipated releases that came out like ish this year, but some like very late 2024, because I have the last 3 months been dedicated to reading all the Lundgren books. So I've like been ignoring everything else that has been coming in, and there's some I'm super excited for. And instead of being like I'm gonna read them in 2 years or soon, I thought let's collect them all in a reading vlog, which will go over for like about a week. I think it depends very much on like how much I manage to read over the next couple of days, because I can finish early, but I can also use longer than intended. And then I am planning to start another vlog, so then I would end it before having read all of the ones I'm planning to read, if you know what I mean. But I am planning, I think, to hold the books up in the thumbnail that I'm excited for, but right now I don't know how many I will actually get to, so you would know if you've seen the thumbnail, I think, maybe. But I am very excited. And the first book that I am going to start is Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins, which is obviously the newest Hunger Games book that everyone has been talking about, and it is Hamish's Games that everyone wanted when we got Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, but we didn't get. I mean, it hasn't been even out that long, it has been like 2 weeks maybe, but I am beyond excited. I've seen people bawling their eyes out of this, and as a OG Hunger Games fan for years, it's been one of my favorite things, and obviously like it's like a fave thing that you don't talk about necessarily all the time, but like you will never forget how much it meant to you. I cannot describe to you how excited I am, and I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about reading it. And obviously I am hoping to read it all in one like little gasp. I need to finish another book today, so I might not be able to start it until tomorrow, which is silly, but I still wanted to just have the introduction for this vlog today. I am beyond excited. I don't know what else to tell you. Obviously, the whole video is going to be spoiler free and all that, but I will give obviously reactions and thoughts to what I'm reading. And then, which I hope I love every single book in here, honestly. So that is my first eyeball read, and then I am obviously gonna do on the side also audiobook reads, which I'm hoping to do for these anticipated things that are here as well, because audiobook reading has been saving my ass the last 3 months a lot. I read much more on audio from before. That is because one, which is maybe a silly reason, is that I am curling my hair now, and that takes me about 1.5 hours, and I listen to audiobook the whole time because I have like small ones, so I can hear it over like the air wrap thing. And then I have started to listen to 3x speed. So that takes it like, I don't know what it is again, like 12-hour audiobook is like 4 hours. And then I also commute a lot when like I go to my different workplaces, and I listen to audiobook then as well. So it's just a lot of audiobook time assembling in my life. Also, I start to cook more, etc. So that I also listen to audiobook then when I cook, etc. So it's just a lot of audiobook time in my life. I finish an audiobook lately every second day, obviously depending a bit on the length. That is a lot, I think, considering the fact that they used to do like 1, maybe 2 a week. So there will be audiobooks in this one as well. Which ones I will like get on audio or not, we shall see as the vlog unfolds in front of your eyes. But I started one now today when I curl my hair, and that is I just tried to listen to this word on how to pronounce this word, but it's the I cannot say it. Anthropocene, the Anthropocene Reviewed by John Green. So this is a bit contradicting because I just said that this is a most anticipated release vlog, and this one was released not this year, it's a couple of years ago now. It is 2021. I got this actually in December last year, so it's not that long ago since I got it. I was just very slow picking it up. I was probably because I wasn't as hyped for it, because it is a non-fiction instead of like his young adult other novels. And then I just kind of forgot that it was released, and then I realized it was out in like the normal paperback UK height, so I got it now in December, and then I realized that audiobook is read by John Green. So I'm doing the audiobook through Libby. I started today, and the reason that I'm listening to this, which is like for the most anticipated, is because I have the tuberculosis book that was just released in March. I had the same release date as Hunger Games, I believe, and I, for some reason in my head, I needed to read this before reading that, even though they are about 2 different things. It's just like I couldn't go to the new release of John Green until I had read his last one that I hadn't read yet, even though again they're about 2 different subjects. So I am on wait for the tuberculosis books for the audio, even though I prefer nonfiction audio. I might read it with my eyeballs, depending on how this vlog develops. But it is relevant for this vlog because I started this today because I feel like I need to read this before I read a tuberculosis book. I'm already 55% in, and I, as I said, started this today. Can this show you stuff? Hello? There. 55% in. I might finish this today because I'm doing some commuting for work, back and forth. And then I will probably have very little left of the book when I done that done. So we might finish this today in one day. This is the Anthropocene, whatever the robot voice just told me. If you don't know what that is, because I did not, it is apparently what scientists or people say is the name of the time we are in life now. And he's reviewing the different things that is happening in our life now, that is affecting the world right now, because he used to be a book reviewer. But it's like, it's really about life and about like how he wrote this on a pandemic and how it affected him. And then like just thinking about different things of life. For example, he has a chapter dedicated to air conditioning. He has a chapter dedicated to supermarkets. He has a chapter dedicated to these French boys in France finding a cave with art and how that like affected the world and how these things affected the world, the history of those things. And then he reviews them with a star rating, as you would do with other things in life. And it is so good. I have been tearing up all morning reading this because it's just so emotional. It takes things in perspective. I feel a bit existential dread from it, but it takes things in perspective that are terrible that we have in life, but also like gives it a bit of humor, a bit of spark, and a very much like humanity is terrible, we are ruining our planet, but the humanity is also beautiful and we are doing these things for each other. And sometimes I really don't like books like that it's very, I wouldn't call them preachy, but I would call them a bit like on the nose of like, oh my god, life is beautiful and yes, we're terrible, we will come together. And I usually can find those books very annoying. But this just does it in a way that it's not. It's just very interesting. I'm learning a lot. I'm Googling things because I'm like, I want to know more about the things he's talking about. And I think that is a sign that you're having a good time with a book. And I am having a good time. I'm tearing up constantly. How is this tuberculosis book going to affect me? I have no idea. But that is my thought so far of 54% in. I'm enjoying it immensely. When I hold this in my video, someone said in the comments that they absolutely loved it, and surprisingly I am loving it a lot too. If it keeps going on the trajectory it's doing now, it might even be a 5-star read, which is not what I thought I would feel when I started it. Just also very interesting because I've been waiting so long to pick this up, because when it was first announced I wanted to buy it, but then I was waiting for it to come in paperback height. It came in a paperback height and I forgot it existed. I just had it on my wish list for like a year before bothering to pick it up. There's a whole thing here. I don't know what happened with me, but it's very, very good. And I will talk more about it when I finish it. So that is the plan so far. Finishing this, which is kind of relevant to the video, but relevant to the video. And then we will read this and you should know what happens next. Hello, it is next day. You're balanced on the book and I'm scared. Wait. Camera has fallen here before, the exact place where you are now. So there I am scared. I finished stuff, even though it's just been like a day, because life is good. First, I finished Anthropocene reviewed by John Green. It did not end up being a 5-star, not because like I didn't care for the story or anything like that in the end, but it was just like I really fell for some of the stories. It really did touch me. I think that the voice and like the wittiness and everything in the story was really good. I genuinely liked it a lot, and I was surprised to see how much I liked it, and the things he brought up really brings perspective of things we have in our world and makes you think a lot. And I think it was done really, really well. I'm giving it a strong 4 out of 5 stars. And I am really glad I read it, and now I feel like I could reread it and just like reflect. And I feel like it is a bizarre book because a lot of the things in here in a few years might not exist anymore or might not function in a way that it does now. So I think it's very like interesting because it's very much obviously of its time, but in like 50 years it might be outdated, and it can be like, oh my god, how was things back then? And this is like a prime example of that. And the way John Green writes, I enjoy it. I have enjoyed it for years, and it's very different voice of his, because obviously it's more his voice since it is the stuff he's reviewing and like stuff from his childhood and stuff from his mental health, etc. It's very personal, but also about our world. So he managed to do both in a really good way. And again, a strong 4 out of 5 stars. Still have not started Sunrise on the Reaping, because I did finish that audiobook I talked about yesterday for the last book for the Loomcraft vlog. And then I've been at work and now I'm gonna go and start it now. Very excited. I did, however, want to mention that I'm reading The Painted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett. It does fit really well for this vlog because it's a book I've been very excited for. I waited for it to come in this height before I bought it in February. and then I haven't been able to get to it. Now I'm buddy reading it with my friend Johanna. This follows like a detective that is trying to solve this murder in a fantasy setting. We have a really interesting world, we have the really interesting characters, and we are solving a murder mystery. I feel like the world itself is really good. I feel like the characters really are shining on the page. It makes them feel very, I was going to say, like real, because they have really strong personalities, and I think the plot is interesting and the world is built really well as well. So I feel like everything is done really well right now and the writing is really good. We are on page 160. I haven't read the pages for today, so we might like reach 200 today, and it's only a 400-page book. So I feel like it fits really well for this vlog because it is one of my like anticipated, even though it was released last year, but I've been waiting for it again to come at this height, and then I'm excited to read more because I feel like everything and the elements in the book is being done really, really well and being put together really well. So it makes me happy. But yeah, so reading this as well. Now, obviously, I started a new audiobook this morning, and I'm going to talk about Everand, because Everand reached out to me and asked if I wanted to be a rep for them, and then I said yes. So I have my own Everand link, and Everand is, if you don't know, a audiobook and ebook app and site. You can use it online as well, like on your computer, and it has different audiobooks and then ebooks, and it is unlimited, but it can limit you if you read so many titles, but you might be able to find other titles that are not locked, but it's basically limited. It really depends on how much you read. I have rarely reached the limit, but I do sometimes. It depends on, again, the usage of the app, and I have a link for you that you can use down below. I will receive a commission. I really like Everand, and I am currently listening to, if I can show you, Rebel Witch, which I have here, which I am super excited about to talk about in a minute. I was just going to say the thing I like about Everand is that you're paying not that much. I feel like it's cheaper than Audible, for example. You can read several books with this, either ebooks or audiobooks, and obviously there's no wait list. So like, for example, I also use Libby, which I'm borrowing from my friends, where obviously if there's a new release, there is waitlist on those audiobooks, but on Everand there's no waitlist. It has, for example, all of R.F. Kuang's books, if you want to check it out. It has like Bubble and Poppy War and Yellowface. It also, I found out, has Sunrise on the Reaping, but I did really consider if I wanted to audiobook it, because obviously the Libby has a long wait list. But I have eyeball read all of the other Hunger Games books the first time I read them, and I feel like I need to eyeball read this one, because I audiobook in certain circumstances. I don't know how to describe it. Like, I audiobook when I commute, when I curl my hair, when I craft. But like, if I'm going to sit and read, I don't like audiobooking, then I like to read it with my eyeballs. So that is why I'm choosing to not listen to audiobook. But I saw they had it and I was like, oh my god, that is a big release that you can listen to instead of waiting. And then also get more books, because obviously they have these books on Audible as well if you're using that. I checked yesterday, they have loads of the things that I want to read in this vlog. So depending, I also found some in Libby, but a lot of them also were like waitlist on, depending on how this vlog develops, what I'm eyeball reading or what I'm audiobooking, depending on like what I read first, etc. But now I talked a lot about Everand. Check it out if you want to. There is a month free trial, and use my link if you are so kind to do so. Now, talking about Rebel Witch by Kristen Ciccarelli. This is one of my most anticipated for the year, and it is the sequel to Crimson Moth. This is a YA duology, like fantasy with romance, and I absolutely love Crimson Moth and gave it 5 stars last year, which I did not expect at all, but I absolutely loved it, and I've been so excited. I've been holding this in my hands and have not had time to read it because I was doing a little quick vlog, and then one of the first things I wanted to do when I was done with it was to read this, and now I started today. I listened to quite a lot. I feel like I am on chapter 27, like, because on the audio it adds chapters that is not the numbered chapters. 27, which, oh, I found it at once, which is page 169 in the physical. So like, I'm almost halfway already. It follows a witch and a witch hunter, and they, in the first book, he suspects that she is the known Crimson Moth, but he's not 100% sure, or that at least she's connected to this Crimson Moth, and she knows that since he's a witch hunter, might have information on this witch she's looking for, because she's really saving witches. And then they're like trying to use each other in the first book, but they obviously still fall for each other, then also hate each other because they're against what the other person stands for. And then there's like some twists and turns, and then they have like really, the author does it so well with their like hatred towards each other. It doesn't feel stupid, it doesn't feel dragged out, it feels completely natural, and like they're both really clever, trying to outsmart the other, while also at the same time like really denying their connection, and I love them so ridiculously much. I've been scared that I wouldn't love it as much, this one, as the first one, but so far the 169 pages in, I am so invested. I've been laughing out loud and been like, they are so stupid, and I love them so much. I love their bickering. I love how they come up with the excuses to like that they are not in love or like that they don't care for each other, but they definitely do. And I love like the magic. I love how, for example, the witches need to use blood to use the magic, and then in the first one he was gonna like examine her like without being obvious because he suspected her for being a witch, for scars, because they usually have scars after like having to use magic, but then she didn't have any because she was using her period blood, and I felt like stuff like that was just cool, and like details like that I really enjoyed. I love that she loves a good party. I love him, and I love how they love each other, and I'm so excited for the conclusion. There was this thing that was added in this one where that they are looking for someone, and I'm very curious to see how that will play out. As I said, I do have over half left, and I'm not gonna finish that today because now I don't have any more audiobook time today. I think I might use even one more day of this than like I said where I finished every second day, because I'm not commuting or anything tomorrow, but it all depends. I might get to listen to some and then finish it on Monday. Either way, I'm gonna go and start Sunrise on the Reaping, and you shall see me later. Yay! Okay, so it is a brilliant new day. To see it, I need to clean these glasses because they are extremely dirty. How are you today? As if you can answer me. Today, I have the whole day off. I don't have any work, which is very fun. It is Sunday after all. Then I am just gonna read. I need to really edit that Loomcraft vlog. I haven't started, and no, I probably have a couple of hours of footage that I don't want to look at. Like, I've been filming a vlog since January. This is going up, I think, obviously after the Loomcraft vlog, so when you're watching this, yeah, hopefully watch the Loomcraft vlog. But like, my point is, I'm talking about it after the fact, is like, I've been doing it for so long that I don't want to like work with it anymore. I just want it gone, but it won't be gone by itself. So my plan is to like edit an hour of footage through the next week, but it depends a lot because I do still have my thesis and we're waiting for feedback. And when we get the feedback, I kind of need to work with that, and that takes like a lot of time. So in theory, I should like edit all day to finish it up today, but I want to read more right now than edit. I had such a good reading afternoon yesterday. I don't want to use the whole day to edit. It is too sad. It is too sad. But maybe I will like edit an hour, like not an hour of footage, but like that the video is an hour long. So that means I will have gone through more than an hour footage. We'll see how far that takes me, how long that takes me, and then eventually like read. So that will probably take me like 3 hours anyway, so we shall see. That is my plan, but I will keep you updated. Yesterday though, I did finish Sunrise on the Reaping by Susan Collins. I didn't even cry. I expected myself to cry. I was actually tearing up more in the beginning because being back image and seeing his life more than anything else. And then in the end, I was like, because I felt very nostalgic for everything. I did very much love it. I loved being back. I loved exploring things. I loved how you know how it's going to end if you read the original trilogy. And I do believe that you should read the original trilogy to care about this one. I think that the author definitely had a lot of like cameo from characters here that I was not expecting. I don't know why I wasn't expecting it, because it's kind of logical that they would be there. But I kept like having to search up some names because like I was pretty sure who they were. But then it is a little while since I read the original trilogy. But I have like the movies very vivid in my mind, and it was so nice to see some of them. It literally like it broke my heart to see them, because obviously I know all the fates, which is like you can read this without having read the original trilogy, and then obviously read the original trilogy and be shocked to see some of the characters again. But it also works the opposite direction as well. And you're like, reading this is maybe better since it like kinda spoils the ending of the original trilogy as well. It definitely sets up a lot, especially in Catching Fire. And I don't know how to explain this to you, but I don't think particularly the book was amazing. Don't shoot me here. Because I do believe that the book was very good and I was very emotionally attached to it and I absolutely loved it. But I also think that like I don't know exactly what it gave extra in the world, because a lot of the things here we already knew. There's just some details in the games and how certain thing happens that was new to us. And then also like obviously some things that the Capital has kept secret that was like revealed that like is still secret because like they hid it and Hamish obviously knows it because he lived through it. Stuff like that is interesting, like the censorship of the Capital, but it's not like we didn't know that they did this, because that's what they do with Katniss. The thing is that when I read the original trilogy, I don't know how to describe the difference in it, but I feel like Katniss was aware of obviously the censoring and like how the capital worked, but she was also much more oblivious to it. She was just like living through day by day, day by day. While in this one, we are much, much more aware of what the capital is. Like, obviously, we always know it is corrupt from the get-go. I feel like in the original trilogy, it's not like the corruption was hidden, but it was more like, it wasn't like we were trying to be revolutionaries from the get-go. Well, in here, we are trying to be revolutionaries from the get-go. I feel like that is the difference in like the narrative, where we are fighting against them from the beginning, while Katniss is literally just trying to survive the whole time. And I feel like that awareness is very interesting, kind of different perspective, but like it was very like, it was a shift I was trying to like place of like how this felt different. And yes, it does add things, and yes, it does build up the things. And I'm not saying the book was bad, because I really, really thoroughly loved it. I had such a good time with it. I can't believe I was looking at the reading time for this, and it was so much lower of anything I read like the last year. I don't know what was going on. And it's not like it was a hard book to read, but I was just like immersed in it in a different way, I guess. I'm giving it a 5 out of 5 stars because the emotional connection I felt to it. I felt like hard to follow all like the tributes, for example, because we had 48 tributes instead of 24 and all that. But just the story, the way I love the world, like how can you love a world that's so terrible? But I mean, we live in this one, and the way that I just love being back in a way, and that I don't know, visually in my head I love the story, and I feel like it gives so many messages, but I don't think that the messages in here are new compared to the other ones, but that doesn't mean it is bad. I don't know how much it actually added for me to like the universe. It was still an amazing book for me, and I'm still giving it a 5. Questioning afterwards, like, what did he give me? What did he give the world? Like, it doesn't give anything new, but it sets up in my heart so many pieces. I don't know how else to say it, but absolutely a joy to read. And as I said, I gave it 5 out of 5. I then had some more time in my evening, aka I was up very late, so I started the next book I want to read for this vlog. So I'm trying to pick things that are not available on audio, either in Libby or Everand. We have Heavenly Tyrant by Shiran J. Shao, and this one is available on audio, obviously, but it's a waitlist, so I knew I had to read it with my eyeballs. But I just reread it on audio, so I've forgotten how every single name is spelled. So I was just like, who are you in the beginning, but now I know who people are. I reread an audio because I did want to read Heavenly Tyrant very soon, and here we are, so I'm proud of myself. And it was one of my anticipated releases for a long time, and then the publication date was delayed over and over, and then it was released on the 27th of December or something, like right before the shift of the new year. I didn't get it until like I think February, because I ordered the Illuminated edition and then they came a bit later. But as I said, I reread I'm a Widow because it was like 2.5 years since I read it, I think. So I wanted to reread it to refresh it, and I listened to audiobook of it like last month, and I loved it so much. And then obviously it was time to read this, because then I already reread the first one. I'm a Widow is, if you don't know, follow a young woman who lives in this world where women are chosen out to be pilots to these machines, or co-pilots to these machines that are being controlled. They're fighting this war, and it's told like in an alternative China. The women always die when they go into these machines, so they like maybe have a use like once, and then her sister died in this way, and she wants to go into a machine to kill the one that killed her sister, and she thinks obviously this whole system is unfair and corrupt and terrible. And then the story, I was gonna say develops. That is how it's set up. It is so much like corruption and like how the world works, a bit like Hunger Games, but I mean, not really. They don't have a Hunger Game, but they definitely have a very corrupt state. And then like there's a polar relationship. Our main character is fierce and stabby and hilarious, and reminds me a bit of Katniss. Since we were thinking about Hunger Games, I was just thinking on it, and I think that it setups like I was gonna say normal YA book, but then it definitely, for sure, I feel like bridges out from that. Like the way the first book really takes you by surprise of like the recent developments. It has some amazing plot twists in there, has some amazing characters. And now I read 100 pages of this yesterday because I didn't have time for more, or like I was sleepy. So I read 102 pages, and it is like over 500. So I have 400 left, which is the length of the Hunger Games book anyway. So far, like the way the second book is being set up, like it takes the themes and like obviously the characters from the first one and makes it, I don't know, it doesn't make it new, but it develops the problems in a way that feels very natural and feels very like, it feels like a natural conflict, and I want to help so badly, and I want to just scream in frustration because our main character, a lot of things, the things that she didn't want to happen is happening, and a lot of things that maybe can be better for her is happening, but it's not happening in the way she wants. And it's just like the way that the author manages to take the things that like we think are solved and then like developing it in a different way. I just see like I haven't seen it done in such a well way for such a long time. Like the fact that this one is so smashing so far, and I only read 100 pages. Like I cannot wait. In my head, I cannot see what is gonna happen next, and I cannot wait to see what's gonna happen next. And I feel like it's a long time since I felt this way. Obviously, in the Hunger Games, I was feeling a lot of hype as well, and obviously, but I knew the end game of the book anyway, because Hamish tells us in the original trilogy. So like I knew what was coming, but it still hurt. Here I don't know, I have no clue what's coming, but it's just so good so far. If it keeps going this trajectory, it's definitely going to be a 5-star. It is 521 pages, and I had to check this, and then like the last like sentence in like cursive in the end is to be continued. I was very unsure if it was coming more books or if like it was a duology, because like I feel like I hadn't seen if it was being called a series or duology or trilogy or whatever. And I feel like it's nice for me to know. I really like to know when it's coming more or not, because like if I don't think it's coming more, I feel like the story needs to be wrapped up when I'm reading, and then it stresses me out when it's not, and then I get very like, I don't know, disappointed in a way when it's coming more, but it was like secrets, and then like I feel betrayed by the book sometimes. That has happened where I felt so betrayed that it like literally lowered like the whole rating, because I was just like, what do you mean it's coming more? Because no one had said anything. But now I know in my head it's coming more, but that also makes me nervous, because then I know that like the things that are not going to be solved, but I also do believe that there's going to be twists in here and like so much stuff happening, and I have 400 pages left of just goodness. And yeah, I'm so hyped. So this vlog is just making me happy to read again. And I don't realize how bad books I've been reading until now, but I've read a good one. So yeah, I'm so excited to continue that. I am still obviously listening to Rebel Witch. Don't think I will finish today, but I'll probably listen to a bit. And that is what I got for you. Now, my plan is, as you know, read Done Heavenly Tyrant today. If I call it Heavenly Widow, I feel like in my head I did by accident. Obviously read Still My Buttery Pages in the Tainted Cup. I am considering starting another book I need to finish by Wednesday for a live show and read like 100 pages in that. So I don't need to binge the whole thing on like Tuesday or Wednesday, because then I don't get time to read anything else. I need to think on this, but you should see me later. Hello. It is yet another morning, and I finished. I just need to take on the dust jacket. Heavenly Tyrant yesterday. It was alright. I did also read 100 pages in the next Miss Programs, but I will talk about that later, which is not for this vlog, but like as I said, I do believe I said it here or on Sprints, but it's like for the live show that is on Wednesday, so if I read 100 pages on that like the next day, so I don't need to binge it all in one day, and I can still read other things. But Heaven Tyrant, I talked about it yesterday obviously, and I enjoyed it so much. This is really the aftermath of the revolution that happens in Iron Widow. It's a lot about like different factions, a lot about politics, a lot about trusting a certain new character, which is really difficult, and it is very good. I absolutely love to see the different characters. I love the different reveals. I love following our main character who was flawed and angry and incredible. I love how the book kind of tricked me, because I was thinking that this isn't so bad. It was definitely tricking me as it was tricking our main character in a way, and then the ending broke my heart, but also it made sense, and I was screaming and gasping and oh my godding out loud, and oh, I'm getting goosebumps down to my toes. There was this certain scene, I don't know, I can't say anything because it's a spoiler, but there were several goodbyes, to say like that, but like not all of them in that necessarily, but just goodbyes, and they made me tear up, and it was just so dramatic. It was a really good thing that I knew that this was not the final, because for some reason I thought that it was a duology. I guess because I never saw it mentioned as like a trilogy or whatever it would be. I'm really glad I knew, because else I would be very appalled right now that I didn't know that the story was going to wrap up here. It was absolutely incredible. I don't think there's many YA books like this on the market. I think that it does things differently. I think the characters are much more complex, the world much more complex, and the way that it doesn't follow, as I mentioned before, like this certain YA fantasy pattern. It's definitely like upper YA, and it definitely does so many things differently, and it really truly has some amazing plot twists, but not necessarily the plot twist doesn't make the book. The writing, the inspiration for the story, the characters, how it all came together, I absolutely loved it. I loved how it makes a new, for example, regime, and it criticizes itself and sees its own flaws, and it is just so much between the lines. I absolutely loved it. I was reeling in every page. Now, I don't know how long wait it is for the third book. We waited a long time for this one. I would definitely reread again. Obviously, I read this with my eyeballs now, or physically. I don't know if people like to say eyeball read or if they like to say physical read, because it's the same though. But I reread on audio, so next time I might reread both on audio and then read the third one with my eyeballs, maybe? I don't know. But I'm so excited. I gave it 5 stars. 2 5-star reads in a row. Who am I? What is this video? I love it for myself. I love it. Then quickly to mention, I did read a manga after that because I had done read like 3 physical reads or eyeball reads, and then I can read a manga. So I read Yon of the Dawn Volume 2 by Suho Kusanagi, and this is about like a princess who basically is running away because after her father was killed in a coup, and then they're on a road right now. There's this sexy dude, and I know it's like a billion volumes, but I'm enjoying it so much. It was so much fun. It was so much fun to see the short development for our main character, and then like all the elements that are coming to play, and I'm very much enjoying it. I'm only on volume 2 of like over 40 volumes, so I'm excited to continue. But yeah, that was really exciting. I think I am like a comedy show in my head, because right before I was starting this vlog, I was checking out on Libby and on like Everand, etc., what was available on audio and as ebooks, because I do prefer to read an ebook lately, even though like I have the physical, because well, then I don't need to have the light on. I don't need to hold the book. I was really disappointed that nothing was available as the audiobook in Libby, because as I said earlier, I've been really on an audiobook kick. And then I found like literally, I think 4 or 5 of my picks, I don't remember, like I can't count right now, in Everand. And I'm like, oh my god, now I can listen to all of this on audio. But now suddenly I don't want to listen to any of them on audio anymore. Now I want to read them with eyeballs, because I had 2 such good eyeball reads after one another. It was because before that I did, you know, the other vlog, and now I mentioned 400 times, and all my eyeball reads was sucking. So I have chosen the next book, and it shall be not on audio. It is on audio on Everand, and obviously it is in Libby, but that is a waitlist on. And we have Breath of the Dragon by Shannon Lee and Fauna Lee. Fauna Lee is the author of Rainbow Saga, which is, I was going to say, one of my favorite series of all time. 3 top series is Mistborn Area 1, Poppy War, and Green Ball Saga. I have high hopes. Might have been too high hopes, maybe. I know that this is a YA. I know that this is written by another author, but I do like the vibe from the story gives like, it gives a bit of Green Ball Saga vibe, and I need to just obviously adjust myself to knowing it's YA. I just read 2 amazing YAs, Hunger Games and Heaven and China Tour YAs, and I give them both 5 stars. I have fully believed that I will love this, but I also, like, since I don't know anything about it, it's a new series, I'm slightly scared. It was released in January, and obviously it's been on my shelf tempting me. I also have Rush by the Edges, and I'm so excited. So I shall obviously read this. I'm hopeful to read it all today, even though I am going to work, and I do still want to added an hour of my vlog, which took like, it took so many hours yesterday. I don't want to talk about it, but it's only like 300 pages. I have full belief in myself on this book. I'm very excited, but as I said, I don't know anything about the plots or what to expect. As it is, I think it's a series. I don't even know. So I shall let you know how it goes, but super hyped. And I'm choosing, as you know, not audio. I'm still in Rebel Witch. We should see if I finish that today or tomorrow. Hey, hello. So I have a package for you, which is very exciting for several reasons, because this is sent to me from Ro, aka Say Rowan Reads, aka previously Wandering Through Worlds. She let me buy her Broken Binding subscription. It is a while ago, and then it was sent back twice to her before it's finally here in my hands. We hope the books are not too damaged. Literally had to mark the box fragile, do not return to sender, because the first time I didn't even get a notification it was here. The second time they managed to somehow go back to old tracking and then turn it, because that's what the first one did. It was a whole thing. I am very excited. I am a bit scared that they are going to be obviously damaged, but Ro did check on them the second time they were returned. But I'm very excited, because it is kind of on theme to what I started to read today as well, which is funny. If I can open this. Jeez. Paid a lot of money now in shipping, and it's funny and hilarious and depressing at the same time. Wow, there's a lot of security in here. Thank you, Ro. Let's see. Okay, so the books are wrapped really well though. So at least there's that. But it has been a depressing few months trying to get this box. And now they are here. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Okay, we open them probably in the wrong order, but we're gonna live with that. first we have The Legacy, which is the last one in the series. This is Greenwood Saga, the Broken Binding editions. They did them as a subscription. And as Greenwood Saga, as I mentioned earlier today, is one of my favorite series of all time. And I was so sad I was going to miss these. And then Ro didn't want hers. And oh, it's stunning. So, The Legacy is so pretty. And whoa, there is a known bookmark. And honestly, at the point I was just like, I will never get these books. But I have them, and they all, number 25 is a really good number. So let's open the other ones. Oh, I can't believe I paid so much to get these books. Only because I had to pay the shipping. I paid more shipping than the actual books, I'm pretty sure, at this point. So I'm so excited. I'm very happy for myself. Okay, so here's the CD, the first one. I think the art is very pretty. I do think that this matches with the art of the cover, but it's still super good. Oh my god, the bookmark! I forgot that we got them. I need to hang them on my wall. Oh, this series, man. I have not reread it in a long time, so I really should get to them. I'm supposed to, sorry for talking while unboxing, but I'm supposed to reread them with my friend, but we haven't gotten around to it. So you might need to do that. And then we have, obviously, Jade War. Oh, my babe. And then it's just stunning. I'm just happy that I finally got them. And honestly, they are not as damaged. There was just the corners on Jade Legacy that was a bit like smushed, but I will survive with that. Ooh, we have Naked, and we forgot to look at the others. But yeah, I have saved space for them in my now finally shelf. So I'm so excited to get them up there. And that was my little unboxing. Now I need to edit. It is actually very late already because time really went by me today. I haven't edited any yet. I did read like 100 pages on like the tram, but granted not the progress at all that I wanted for today, because now the editing is going to take me ages, and then like it's going to be super late and I won't be able to read them on my book. So we should see if I actually get to edit an hour today. I like have doubt inside of me that I will bother, but we shall see. Here is the bookmarks, by the way. What am I supposed to do with this, huh? I can't use them. I would just save them forever. But yeah, I am happy I finally got them. It feels like a miracle, honestly. This book has been trying to get this wave to me for like, I feel like it's been at least half a year at this point, honestly. But yeah, okay, I'm gonna try to do some editing. It's 8. And if I want to edit an hour, I feel like I'm gonna stay until 11. Then I won't be able to finish my book. We shall see how it goes. Meh. Hello. It is the next day and I have finished and started new things. So we need to talk about it, obviously. I did finish Battle for Dragon yesterday by Channeling and Fonnelly. I didn't get to read any pages in my FAES, so now I need to read 200 pages of that today. And then I also have work, so like I don't know if I will get to read or finish like another book as well. And everything is being messed up, but it's fine. Battle for Dragon is, as I said yesterday, the start of a new YA series. We follow a main character, what was his name? June, who gets exiled with his father to the other side of the country. And we have like East and West, and they are in conflict with each other. And there's like a wall between them that gets closed later. He and his father are exiled because his father was a warrior and taught his sons this warrior way, and that is like not allowed where they were. And then his brother, he has a twin brother called Sai, had like a breath marked mark, that means that you have a different ability, and these different abilities can have to do with fighting, but also have to do with like really other things. It's like basically any ability, like X-Man. And our main character does not have a certain ability, but he's a very good fighter. And then we skip to 10 years later when he's gonna enter this competition to become the, what was it called again? The Guardian. I was about to say counselor because I started to listen to another book, and then they use the word counselor. Then they like, it's like a tournament, and the winner, like this is a fighting tournament, the winner of this becomes the guardian of the scroll. And then at the same time there's like a political landscape between the West and East that are in conflict with each other. At the same time we have a main character wanting to be a warrior, etc. This was also based upon like or inspiration of like Bruce Lee, who is like a known hero arts fighter in real life. And then we can definitely see like Funnily, love material arts and is a material artist herself, and you can definitely see that in Greenwood Saga as well. I don't know enough about Channeling to say, but you can definitely see elements of that in this book. And then basically it is like it's training, it's going to the tournament, it is like, as I said, a political landscape of, did I say West and East the whole time? Like I like literally forgot if it was East or West, or if it was like because it was not north and south, so it has to be east and west. Sometimes I forget directions. I'm bad at directions in general. It definitely is the startup of the story. I think it started out very strong. I started to care for characters. I think the world was really good. I think it had like good politicalness of the story, good motivations in the story. I think it was really well written. I did enjoy myself thoroughly throughout the whole book. I was missing something. I don't know, I can't put my word on what exactly to make it a 5-star book. I think it is because I was waiting for something to happen. And obviously, as we have all these elements I talked about, you expect certain things to happen. And I feel like those things never came true, which is, in a way, I was glad, because like that means the book wasn't predictable, and I like that. But what I mean when there's certain things to happen, I was waiting for some kind of like big plot twist to the story that would be like, oh my god, it wasn't like this all along, in a way. And we sort of got that, but I felt like it was downplayed in a way that made it not feel as cool as it could have been. And that's why I didn't give it a 5, because I never got like that really good plot in a way that made the story be like, oh my god, like totally blow my mind in a way. My enjoyment was really good though, but for example, like Hunger Games, it didn't never had like that super plot twist either, because obviously I knew it was gonna happen. But there I was so emotionally invested in the story, that is why it became a 5-star. And Heaven Tyrant completely blew my mind, so that is why I got a 5-star. And this, it was really good. I was so excited. I was enjoying it so much. I feel like, as I said, the world was really cool and it was explained really well. We had really different elements of conflicts inside and outside, and I was enjoying the world and learning about everything. I just feel like it wasn't a 5-star book. I feel like it was very close to at some time, because I was so hyped for everything in this vlog. So I'm like forcing the 5 stars out of my ass at that point. But I love warrior stuff, and I love like training stuff, and I love that they have to change and like adapt, and I love that. So it got a very strong 4-star, and then I, on like Storygraph, I gave it a 4.5. So like I really thoroughly enjoyed it. Would very much recommend it. It was such a solid book. And now there's no news for the next one, but I'm very curious and very excited. Maybe I would have given it a 5 if I listened to the audio, honestly, because audio right now for me is very good for everything in my brain apparently. But as we know, I chose not to do that. But then I would not finish it yesterday, because then I would have to read something else. But I read it. We are happy. 4.5. Then this morning I did finish Rubber Witch while curling my hair. I didn't get to finish it yesterday. It didn't take as long commuting as I thought it would. Yesterday was such a wild day as well, because everything did not go to plan and it really annoyed me. But either way, this is, as I said, sequel to Crimson Moth. I feel like in the beginning of this, it really managed to capture a relationship and go back to like what I really truly loved about the first book. I talked about this. I feel like I already talked about this. And I felt like it was going on a 5-star trajectory a lot of the way through the book. But then it became a lot of back and forth. And I'm not saying it wasn't like that in the first book. I can't actually recall how much back and forth it was. But it was very much like, let's split up. Oh no, a surprise, we're together again. Let's split up. Oh no, surprise, we're together again. Like, over and over. I think like it happened like 3 or 4 times where we were split up and then they randomly found each other. And it was just like too much convenience in the plot that annoyed me a bit. And then the way things wrapped up, I feel like it was very obvious the way it would go. And it's not like that is necessarily a bad thing. But I felt like the first book had some really cool plot twists to certain parts of the story where you were truly shocked what was happening in the end there. And I was there like, oh my god, this is great. That obviously some parts of it was obvious, but it was just so fun how it played out. While in this one, I felt like there was never truly like a plot twist as the same as the first one. I'm talking as if I need a plot twist in every single book to enjoy it. But I do love myself a really good like thorough thing where they have pieces on the board and you think that this is what you got, and then it's not what you got after all. Like, you have a secret piece hidden. And I feel like not a lot of book manages to do that. And I feel like, again, Breath of the Dragon didn't have that yet. Maybe that will come later in the series. And I feel like this one missed that, as I felt like the first book had. It still had some great moments between Gideon and Rune. And still had some really, like, really fun dialogue between them. And some really good moments. I do feel like the end was a bit rushed, and I do understand that it's a duology, and I know I would not prefer a trilogy to drag things out more. I do believe that they managed to communicate with each other in the end, and it was a good time. I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed the first like 50% a lot, and then like the next like I guess like the last 30% I was a bit at the point where I was like, we're just gone and done the things over and over, and now I know exactly what's going to happen, so now I just kind of want to wrap up the book. So I feel like that is sad for me, but it was still super fun. How long was this? Oh, it was just like 450 something pages. But I gave it a strong 4, not a 5, but still strong solid 4, which we are happy with. And I did super much enjoy it. Think it is stunning. Very excited to get the first edition when it comes out in sale. I think late April. And I don't think they're shipping it till like November, December, which is... that is insane. Then I was going to start my next audio, right? Because I finished that. I was still curling my hair. I need to start my next one. And I was planning to like listen to audiobook on one of the things that I found was available for the books I was planning to read for this vlog. But then I didn't do that at all because I did get off hold like a week ago. I did get off hold Ending Fire by Sarah L. Arifi. Now, granted, this is an anticipated release for me. It was released, was it last year in August? I was just not planning to read it for this vlog because like it wasn't in like the pile of books I had made that was released like this part of the year at least. But then, as I said, I had the audio and then I felt like, well, I want to listen to this now. So this is not an all plan in the books, just like the Audiobook reviewed. So I'm using my audiobook time on not books I plan for this vlog, so to make things difficult for myself. This is the final book in the... is it the Ending Fire trilogy? What is like the actual trilogy called? Yeah, it is called that. And this series follows this rebel group that stole a bunch of children from like the higher ranks that had red blood, because there's different like blood ranks in society, and then they were going to raise them to be rebels against the people in power. And then every like 10 years there's like this competition, and if you win that competition, there's different competitions, you become like the warden of like that certain area you won in. And then they were planning to invade with these children that stolen in that competition, but then they were destroyed before they managed to do what they planned. And then we are them later, where like a couple of years later after that, where one of them, who were one of the surviving kids, basically hates her life and has become a drug addict, etc., and they're like lost all hope. And then we have Honor, who grew up in privilege, even though she was one of the children that was swapped, and then she wants to enter the competition, and then Sila, main character, or one of the main characters, starts helping her, and then they fall in love, and then there is lots of like secrets in this world that are like a rabble as we go on. And then the sequel, really cool. I listened to the first one on audio, and then the second one on audio. It's not that long ago since I finished the second one, but then I haven't read the third one before because I read the 1 and 2 before. To complete the trilogy, I obviously need to listen to this one as well. Actually, randomly today, Illumicrate is selling their 10th anniversary set of the series, which is absolutely stunning, and I'm definitely getting it because it is such a good series. I love it so much, and I feel like the sequel was so solid. It managed to unravel so many more important things. Very excited to see how we wrap up in this one, which I will not find out because I'm already like, it says I am 13% into the audio. I feel like that was a lot. This series is just so solid. I give the first one a 5, the second one a 4, and then we shall see if this reaches a 4 or 5. I definitely think it will be either. Super excited to see where we'll go, so I should talk about it more very soon. I will listen more today because I am commuting to work, obviously. Now, I was thinking long and hard of which book I was going to read of my pile of books, and then I decided on Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. This is a bit like contradicting if it is anticipated or not. It is definitely a new release, and then I was planning to not read it because I read a lot of hypothesis and I didn't like it, and then I read Bride and I loved it and gave it 5 stars. And then I read, what is the other one called? Not in Love. I do believe that is the one. And I didn't like that either. And then Deep End came out. And then I was just like, oh, but I'm probably not going to like that either now. But then people like, well, you're like, oh my god, it's amazing, it's super smutty. And then I fell for it. And then I borrowed it at the library though. So like I haven't bought it because that is what I did with Bride, and then I had to buy it. And then I own a copy of Love Hypothesis I don't want anymore. So there's that. But I'm not going to do that mistake again. If I love this, I will buy this. But this is the last chance I'm giving, unless it is within like the Bride series, and Mate is coming later this year. So I'm very excited for that. If like I don't like this, I just don't think I like the contemporary and how the author writes relationships in them. So we shall see if I like it. Now I read a lot of fantasy / sci-fi, and now I want like some contemporary, some romance, and then maybe I'm hoping this will be a faster read than, because I'm reading so slowly eyeballing, that I shall try to finish this today, as well as reading the 200 pages of Map of Days. My chances are against me, but I shall try my best, and you shall see later how it goes. Hello. It is a new, wonderful sunny day. My glasses are very dirty again. I also have something in my eye. I did finish my book yesterday, but oh my god, I had to stay up until 2:30 a.m. to finish it. And I don't know really why I was so insisted to finish it. I have this thing where I want to read a book a day. It was because I had to read so many pages in A Map of Days yesterday. Even though that went really fast, I was at work, that took some time. I didn't get time to read before work because I'm editing the Lumiere vlog. So I feel like the fact that I want to read a book a day as well as edit as well as working every day is a bit insane. But I do believe I'm on track to finish all the books I want to read for this vlog before I need to start my next vlog in some days. So, finish Deep End. It does follow this diver and this swimmer that find out that I have the same, I was gonna say sexual kink, like they are both into BDSM, and then they start having sex and then get feeling for each other, and then she's also trying to overcome like this block that she has gotten after her accident in diving. It's a lot about the sport, but not enough about the sport that you're overwhelmed by the sport. And then people said it was like super steamy, etc. I honestly need to stop listening to the people because it wasn't that steamy. Yes, we had some sex scenes, but the fact that they made lists for each other with a kings, and then you expect, I don't know, I guess you expect the sex to be a bit kinky. You know, that is the expectation you get when they make each other lists for their kings. And there is nothing in the sex that is like particularly, I was gonna say, I guess different. I don't know if it's because I have become immune because I've been reading so other weird sex stuff. It was more like I thought it would be more detail into like what they were into, but it was more like that he handled her roughly. And I honestly, it was, for me, that was not, can I call it vanilla? Because I know for some people that is not vanilla at all. But I just meant that I expected so much more because we were talking so much about how they were into certain things. And then I felt like we never went into detail with them. We just had like these random sex scenes. And yes, he handles her roughly, and after she does have bruises, etc., and she really likes it. And he praises her a lot in bed, and that is what we got. But I just expected so much more kink from it. Maybe I am misunderstanding everything, but that is what I expected, especially when we were setting up this thing that they were very kinky for like 100 pages, and then literally I was just like, I read this 1,000 times before, this is nothing different. And then it was a relationship, they had obviously their problems, and it was just so obvious, and then obviously you're gonna get over it. And I felt sometimes an emotional connection to certain people in the story. I think that some had good character development, and I was interested in this whole like swimming and diver thing. I thought that was a bit interesting and like fun, I guess. That is coming from like a person that is not into sports at all. But it was just so long. It was like 400 and almost 50 pages. It was 443 pages. I just felt like it did not need to be that long. I felt like, don't see how this is different from any other Hazelwood. And I just need to realize that the author is not for me, at least in the contemporary. I love Bride. I'm very excited for Mate, but I just don't think this is for me. I feel like the characters are very much the same. They always feel like struggle with the same things. They're always the same type of characters. The way they're like super smart, for example, they are all the same like science people. And I know that the author is also into like science, etc. And that is why she likes to write about women, but they are all like super smart and like they're all into the same thing. They're all socially awkward and like can't communicate their feelings and feel very aloof. The same with like all the guys feels the same as well. I want a bit more different personalities in the story, I guess, because now I read 3 of like her contemporaries and I feel like I literally read about the same character 3 times. And then there was also the love interest. The dude, Lucas, was Swedish, and I think it was cool he was Swedish. I'm Norwegian, we are neighbor countries, EA. I didn't need to be told he is from Sweden every single page. It felt like, not every single page, but I felt like we mentioned he was from Sweden like literally 50 times. And then we were talking about Sweden, and we all had just like jokes that he was from Sweden, and like Viking stuff, and then like some Swedish words that was like a bit fun. But it was always like when there was something happening, it was just like, oh, but I'm Swedish, or like, oh, but you're Swedish, so you don't get it. They always needed to mention that he was from Sweden, like every single time. And I'm like, is this how I am when I'm talking to people that are not from Norway? And then I say, oh, but I'm Norwegian. Do I say that like every 14 seconds? Because that is super annoying, and now I'm never ever gonna do that again, because oh my god, I think it's obviously very different if you meet different people from different countries and you talk about the differences in the countries, and it's fun to talk about. I get it, but it was just like this ongoing thing in the story where you had to mention it over and over and over and over that he was from Sweden. And I was like, I get it, dude. You're from Sweden. Like, it's not like you're not like other guys here. There are other people from Sweden in the world. And it was just so annoying. He brought it up all the time. The characters brought it up all the time. In their minds, like when they thought about him. And my character thought about it all the time. And I was just like, jeez. And I don't know. I don't know. There is this joke that Sweden and Norway have like the rivalry and that we hate each other. So maybe my hatred towards Sweden is coming forward. I'm joking. I'm joking. No, but honestly, like, it was just so annoying because I was just like, I get it. You're from Sweden. And I just feel like, have I read other books where they're from another country that is not Nordic, because there's like a certain way people treat the Nordic countries that I find funny. Maybe it is just the thing, but it was just annoying me because I was just like, I realize you are from Sweden. You have now said so 104 times. So like, we don't need to talk about it anymore. But yeah, it was like the only thing throughout the whole story. And it was just a lot. The sex was disappointing. The relationship was fine. The character was the same characters I read before from the author. And I guess like the swimming part was the most fun part. I didn't know what I thought I would love it. I think it is a way the author writes. She writes in a certain way. And I noticed that in Not in Love and I Love Hypothesis as well. It's just a certain way she writes. I feel like everything becomes very flat for me. And I just can't get so emotionally attached as I want to. I don't remember how I felt about Bride for this writing, but apparently I love that. But then we had Vampires and Werewolves, so that kept me alive. So I gave it a 2.5. And I just like, because I just honestly felt like, what was the point after the whole thing? Like, why did I read this? I knew exactly where it was going to go. And I can't believe I thought the sex was going to be more interesting than it was. Now I'm gonna let that go. I'm gonna return it to the library after this vlog, and then we can show you the next book I'm gonna read. I'm gonna finish Map of Days today because the live show is later today, so I'm gonna finish that on my subway, tram, rail, road. It's called light train in English, that's how they translated it. But I'm thinking I'm gonna read FAES by Sarah L. Arifi. This is the shortest one of the ones I have left. I mean, except if we count the tuberculosis books, but I have not yet to be decided if I'm going to read that for this vlog. The other two are very, very thick. I don't know if this is smart because I might need to read those other two over the course of 2 days each because life and stuff. But I am at least planning to read this today. This is the sequel to FAES, which is obviously by the same author, where we follow elves that are like at war, and then like they're fighting and they use like these drums to fight, and then we have my character who got exiled, and then she finds the Fae that has been gone for a really, really long time, and then they found out like lots of secrets in the Fae court, and they need to survive there, and then also her sister followed her there, so they are like both trapped in this court. But yeah, they find out basically secrets about this war they've been fighting, and it is like also there's romance. I thought the war was really cool, and I thought it was really fun and good. Obviously, as we know, I'm also still reading The Ending Fire, so like then I'm reading 2 books by the same author at the same time. Love that for me. So I just got this, actually. It was right before I started this vlog. It was perfect because I did really want to read it for the vlog. And I have the favorite edition, so I'm very excited. It is only like 300 pages, and I need a bit shorter book, even though it's not only 300 pages, is it? It's a bit more, maybe. 322 pages. So that is much shorter, apparently, than a Hazelwood. So yeah, I'm gonna try to finish that today. And then I'll try to add it. I need to now go to work. Oh my god, I need to go. The bus is going in like 10 minutes. See you later, or 15. Bye. Okay, hello. So yesterday I did finish more stuff, as we love to see. I did finish on the tram Map of Days, and we had a live show, and it was a good live show. So this was obviously not for like anticipated stuff, because like it was for the read along on my Patreon, but I did enjoy it fine. We are like in new trilogy, like this is set after the original trilogy, and then we go on this new adventure. But what thing you have to do is that when you have wrapped up your original trilogy, you need to make new conflicts, and I found some of those conflicts that we were making annoying, because I was just like, we already established all of this, and now we're just making a new conflict for no reason, and a lot of trust and stuff was broken, and I felt like it felt very unnatural, because it was like literally we've been building trust for like half a year and like making this family, and then over the course of 4 days everything was broken. I was like, seriously? And I just felt like some factions and like the plot itself was not interesting. We went on this road trip thing, and I just found myself not caring enough about their mission and stuff. I wanted to see where the characters end up. I want to see more of this world, but I felt like a completely, like literally 2 different books in a book. And I ended up feeling fine about the whole thing. Like, I gave it a 3. Obviously, I have, I don't know how well you can see that, but I have next 2, and we're reading next 2 in my Patreon. So we are going to finish the whole series and all that. But it's like, I'm feeling fine about this second part, while I'll enjoy the first part much more. and we shall see how it goes. So at that point, I had finished 3 iBories, and I can again read a manga. I read My Dress Up Darling Volume 12, which is very Christmassy. I'm feeling fine about this series in general. I read 3. There's only 2 volumes left. There's one coming now in April, and then one in October, and then the series is finished. So it's not really like that much left now. It's only like 14 volumes, and like I should be glad when it's done. I think it's cute and fine. Like there's about this dude that makes cosplays for this girl. It doesn't have a lot of substance, and it's a bit boring to me. Then I did read Cursebound, which was like the main read, I guess. And yesterday's read by Sarah Al Arivi. As I said yesterday, the sequel to FAES, and there was a lot of stuff in here that I've forgotten. For example, that like the Fae are trapped in like the world they're in. That is why we haven't seen them in so long. And obviously we want to break that curse, etc. I also had like this storyline that started off in the end of book 1. And the way it wrapped up without wrapping up was really weird. And then we focused on completely other like political things in the Fae world. And I don't know how I felt about it all, because I felt like the whole like first part of the storyline, like the first 100 pages or so, I just didn't see the point to it. Well, I understand it is important for the climate of the world and like the characters, etc. I was just like, why are we having this storyline and then we have this other storyline? And I just felt like they didn't go that well together. I don't know how to explain it, because you could go kind of into book 2 with certain expectations after book 1. And I'm not saying that it needs to obviously follow through on every single one of those. You can't change your like expectations and all that. There was just like a thing where you were really high for this certain thing, and then it just like ended. I mean, just like, oh, kind of in a way. I don't know how to explain it. It was a bit like actually a map of days where we had like a certain storyline. We used a lot of time within 100 pages, and then we just did something completely else. And it's a bit like that here too. I really like the characters though. I like the world, and I like the politics and stuff. And it did have like some cool additionals to the world, etc. But a part of me also was not as invested as I wanted to be. I don't know how to explain it. It's not like I'm not liking the series. I'm really, really enjoying it, and I do think it is fun and cool and original, and it's definitely like not focused on like the romance, even though there is romance in it. But we had a new relationship here, which was really sweet as well. So we have 3 different main relationships right now, and I like them. And there was like some cool, I guess, like twists in like the politics, and there were like important things brought up through the politics. But at the same time, I felt myself being a bit like bored, a bit in the midway through. I was just like, I wasn't as invested in the story. I felt like we didn't have a concrete plot. We were just like, for example, at the point, we're just avoiding to be assassinated and going out on an investigation. And I was just feeling like, I didn't feel like we had like a massive expansive plot that connected, even though yes, it was, and yes, with reveals, it does obviously, it is super important. But I just felt like for me, it didn't hang together the way I wanted it to be. It didn't feel like we had like this ongoing thing. And it is a trilogy, so the next one we need to wrap it up. This was very short, and I'm just like, how are we going to do that in the last one? Is the last one going to be very thick? I don't know. But I still enjoyed it. I want to give it a 4, but I do believe it's going to be like more for 3.5, and then rounding it down to 3 maybe. Because it's not, again, I didn't dislike it or anything like that. I found myself not loving it because I was just like, felt we were directionless. But I still nonetheless enjoyed a lot of parts of it a lot, and I like the characters a lot, etc. So yeah, a bit conflicted, but it wasn't a bad book. I was just like missing a direction. And I haven't decided what to read today because I'm between 2 options, and I don't think I will be able to finish either anyway. So I just kind of need to read half of either because I have work and stuff. I will go and get a book. I'm going for the thickest because I'm thinking that tomorrow I won't be able to read the whole book anyway, and then today I probably won't either, since I'm gonna use all the time to edit. So then I thought I might as well just do the thickest. I will read the most amount of pages over the next 2 days, and that is, as you saw me carry over maybe, Outbound by Tracy Dehan on anticipated release. This is the final one in the Legend cycle, which is a YA fantasy series. It is Arthurian legends amidst retelling. You have a main character that starts this like, is it a college? And then she finds out about like the Arthurian myths and legends and like how that is a part of a student secret society, but also she has other roots that leads back in her veins with other kinds of magic as well. And then there's like this whole society that is very privileged, and they don't like that a black girl is joining it. And then it is super, super, super good. I absolutely loved them a lot. I really, really enjoyed Legendborn, and then Bloodmarked was incredible. Reading it, going into it, I was just like, did I really like Legendborn as much as I thought? But honestly, it was incredible. So now I'm super, super hyped for Outbound. I hope I haven't hyped myself so much up that I will be now let down. I shall read at least half of this today. Then we shall see if I read more. And yay, hello, it is the next day. It's apparently the only time I will update you. Once in the morning, and I will never see each other again. I did read half of Oathbound, and I realized it's not the final book. It is coming more, which is what I was unsure about yesterday, but it is coming more, confirmed. So I thought it was the final book, and I was like really like, what's it called, like sat on it being the final book, and then it is not. So I was like, oh, but that is fine. Enjoying it so far, but we are not really following the main characters right now. We are following other things, and I miss them. And then I was struggling a bit getting into it because I couldn't remember everything that happened in the second book. But while I read the second book super, super long after the first book, I had no trouble with that. But now I can't remember who anyone is. I was struggling to like what actually happened in the second one, which was amazing. So far, like not loving it as much as the first and second, but still enjoyable and still very curious to see what's going to happen next. So I will let you know. I shall finish that later today. Then this morning I did finish the final Strife, the ending fire, which is obviously the actual final book. So I finished the series and it was really good, but I don't think that this was the best in series. I do think it was the weakest. I think that we spent a lot of time going back and forth because like things that was like a really big deal and was like worked with a lot earlier, now it's just like not a big deal anymore. For example, like travel and other like inner things with the characters. And I was just like, okay, why are we just like making it not a big deal anymore? It was a bit like the vibes of like, you know, in Game of Thrones the last 2 seasons when like traveling that had taken previous characters several seasons now took people like not even an episode, they were just suddenly there. That is the vibe I got from it. That was annoying me a bit. But I still love the characters and I love the world and how it developed. I just feel like it didn't keep any more secrets within itself. While like in the first one, we had a lot of secrets in the world that were revealed. And the second one, we expanded on those. And it was really like, oh my god, it's really, really good. Getting goosebumps thinking about it. While here, there was no secrets underlying in it. Like that, there was no secret reveals anymore. It was just like playing out exactly where you think it's going to go. So I wish that the author had kept more cards maybe to a chest. I had more than like would have made this incredible. I'm not saying it was bad. I did thoroughly enjoy myself and I enjoyed seeing the ending. I found some moments very satisfying and I find the way it's written and some of the characters, especially some of the involvements with the characters, very good. So I really did enjoy it. I enjoy the world and enjoy this author a lot. Very excited to see more from the author in the future, as we also just read literally Cursebound as well. But I do feel like the author has really good ideas and then like it can jumble it in the middle before it comes to really great execution. Here I felt a bit of like jumble maybe in the middle, but I still really enjoy myself and I'm giving it a 4 just because I thoroughly enjoy myself, but it could have been maybe like a 3.75, not a fully 4, but I'm rounding it up to 4. And yay, I also started my next audio. And I forgot it obviously, so I need to go and get it. It feels almost a lie to call it anticipated release because I didn't know about it until I saw someone buy it on Instagram. And then I was like, oh my god, a new book by a Quakey and Messy. We had Little Rot and I just started this on audio. It was not on Everand sadly, but Cursebound was on audio and I chose to not listen to that on audio. And the next like reading after Oathbound is on Everand and I was just like, why am I not choosing to listen to these on audio? Oh, but I listened to this on Libby and this is a breakup between these 2 main characters. I just started it, so I'm just like reading what's going on. And then they have like 2 different like completely things happening to them. One of them, the woman, she broke up with him because he didn't want to commit to her and get married. And then now she's like going out in the nightlife and then maybe she will go to more like darker places of the nightlife, like sex stuff or drug stuff. Like there's a hint to both right now. And then the main dude is like, he's very rich and stuff and he is reeling after his heartbreak and then he goes to a sex party and then right now he has found a really young girl there and he's just like, oh my god, because he never considered that that was happening there. And then I assume because we're in the middle of the scene, he wants to stop it. So it's like, it is dark part, some of it. We are in Lagos as well. And then it is not that long. The audio is like literally like 8 hours or something. And it's like less than 300 pages. So I'm hoping to finish this, if not this weekend, because I'm only commuting today, then on Monday. I have plans for another vlog and I don't know when this vlog is ending. It's a whole thing. But I'm enjoying it so far. It was giving me the vibes when I read the synopsis of you made a full out of that for your beauty, which I love. So I'm hoping that this will give me the same vibes and chaoticness of like really flawed and good characters. So Yay, let's hope that this is really good. Hello, it is a new day and it's like been 2 days since I updated you, so now I have so much to say and I will try to not forget anything. First of all, I did finish Oathbound, not yesterday but the day before. I did like it, but I didn't love it as much as I thought I would because I absolutely loved Bob Mark, as we said earlier. But I didn't like love this. I did like it a lot and I do find the world and everything very cool. I feel like it was a lot of inner developments in this one instead of like outer things happening, and it's like the third book in the series, so I was like, And then like my favorite character was barely present for like basically the whole book, and it made me sad because I kind of wanted more stuff with that character instead of just like focus on the thing we were focusing on. I still think it was a cool concept and I do think the author was cool, wanted to do the things she wanted to do here, and I still like enjoyed the series overall. I'm like super excited for the next one, but this is getting the weakest rating so far in the series for me, and I gave it a 3 on Goodreads, but it's like more of a 3.5. That was a great short review. Then I also finished The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett, as I've been mentioning. So this was, well, it was anticipated release because I was waiting for it again for this height, and I did enjoy this a lot. It was, as I said, a murder mystery. I thought the world was super cool. There was so many cool fantasy aspects to it, where we have like this Sherlock and Holmes kind of duo that is solving this murder mystery in like this really cool fantasy world. I feel like it did manage to balance well between the fantasy and the mystery, and I feel like it was doing a good job. I feel like the characters especially were really strong and cool, and I really liked the personalities and again the dynamic they had together. I just feel like, what can I say, like the actual like murder mystery wasn't that engaging for me. I still found it fun to solve it, and I found that I was interested in it obviously, and like I was engaged in it. I just like felt, since that is the main plot, I almost missed a high fantasy plot, but at the same time also liked that it was doing something else than like being a typical high fantasy. So obviously I still really enjoyed it and I gave it a strong 4. Wow, love that for me. Then yesterday I did finish The Rag Picker King. We are actually in the middle of a page of readathon right now where the theme is spring, and I was just like, well, there is a bird on it, so we are counting for spring. This was the last that I wanted to read for anticipated releases. News Cassandra Clare, second book in the, what's it called, the Realms of Castellan, the Chronicles of Castellan. Like, what is the name of the actual like series? What's it say? I have like, yeah, Chronicles of Castellan, and this is like Cassandra Clare's like adult series instead of Shadowhunters. And I could remember what happened in Swordcatcher, which is the first book in the series, but granted, it is a while since that came out. And then going into this one, I didn't remember who the characters were, but there was a lot of like politics and talking and different stuff. And I was just like, I don't know who you are. I don't know who you are. And I really felt that I should have read the first book before reading this one. It really depends, because sometimes I don't need to, and other times I really need to. And here I clearly needed to. And I do, again, I remember the plot points of Swordcatcher. I remember the world. I remember what I enjoyed and what I didn't enjoy. But I really felt a bit lost in this one. And I also felt it was really long and that it was a lot of like talking and like not a lot happened. I did find the ending exciting. I did find some pieces of the story exciting and like how it came together. But overall, I felt like it was just really long with not a lot happening. That might have to do with the fact that I didn't feel as invested in it as I should have been, because I hadn't reread the first book and I was a bit lost in like everything. So I gave it a 3 because I just felt a bit like, okay, I liked it, it was fine. Maybe I would have enjoyed it more if I reread the first one. And before the third one comes out, I would definitely reread both. And again, this was another one that I could have listened to audio on Everand, my lovely Everand. But I chose to do it with my eyeballs because I had read the first one with my eyeballs. And I don't know if I have regrets on that, or if I would manage even to know who was who, because I couldn't see like the spelling of the names if I listened to the audiobook. But yeah, that was what I had to say about that. And then, things are falling. Things are falling. We finished this morning Little Rot, which was my audio, as we said. And then the last one that we are finishing for this vlog. I don't know if I like this one that much either. I feel like we really started this vlog on a high and we're ending on not a low, but like lower than the high we started on. I did enjoy parts of it. We are, as I said, in New Lagos, and then we had like this couple that broke up, and then like they are both going off and doing like loads of shit basically. We go into this world of like really rich men abusing sex workers and a lot of like previous abuse and a lot of like sugar daddy relationships and a lot of murder suddenly, and then it just all just like comes together in this jumble. I really like was lost in like what the book really wanted to do. It had a lot of triggering topics. It was kind of terrible at some points, like really things happening. I did find parts of it like, I was just gonna say, alluring in a way that was like, these people seriously has issues and need to check themselves up. But at the same time, I just like felt I never like fully was invested in the story, because I never really liked the characters, for example, and it's a very like character driven thing. And then because I didn't like them, like why would I care what is happening to them? So I just felt a bit like, it's probably like my least Quakey MSC favorites that I read, but I still like find the way, obviously the author writes, I find it enjoyable, and it was just a bit weird. Maybe I honestly, because I was listening to the audiobook, I was thinking maybe I should have actually read this with my eyeballs. This is really hard sometimes, especially when you get so into audio and like you have like this balance of both. I feel like it's so hard to know before you read a book if you should eyeball read it or not. But I really maybe think that maybe I would have enjoyed it more if I had eyeball read it. So maybe I would do that later at another time. But I ended up giving this a 3 as well, because I felt just fine about it. So that was the last reads. I just want to quickly mention that for my Patreon readathon, I am binging this manga series between every book I'm reading, and I'm reading 2 volumes, which is called Scum's Wish. It is really weird. I was like starting it in 2017 and now I'm like finishing it, and I'm just like, it's really weird. But more thoughts on my wrap up because I'm not completely done with it, just to be aware I'm reading it. And I'm just like, it was not at all how I remembered it, and I don't know if I'm like liking it or not. I can't decide. Also, as I mentioned 100 times, we did not read the Tuberculosis book by John Green, because I have decided I do want to audio it, even though it is, like I said, a 190-page book. I just feel like it would be better on audio. But what if I'm incorrect, huh? What if I'm incorrect? Look, it has very cute on papers actually. But yeah, so this will be later in the time when audiobook comes in. I think it says 4 weeks on audio, which is honestly not that long. So yeah, that was it for anticipated releases. We started on a banger, or bangers, and then we just like slowly but surely went downwards. Here's the books we read. Wait. I still found it really fun to do a vlog like this, because my dream is now to get my TBR down, as I've been talking about in different videos. If I do that, this is how I will always be reading, or like not always, but often we will be reading, because I will always be reading like the books I bought like the last 1 to 3 months is my hopes. So that is kind of what I did in this vlog, basically, except like I was gonna say except the Paragon book, but I did actually get that for Christmas. It's not that long ago since I got it. I realized that not all of these were anticipated, but like most of my main reads were, and it was just like some added sprinklers on top. I did still have a really good time. Very excited I got to read off this, and I hope you enjoyed this vlog. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a kissing lip thing down below if you enjoyed this. And you should see me soon. Bye!